he was so many things. He was an all-time great player who became the logo. You don't just make any player the logo. No other player in our major sports had ever been considered to be the logo. He was a generationally unique 80s, 90s, 2000s. He was a respected basketball voice. He was the architect of 3 dynasties. And he was a relentless personality. You've seen that in the documentary. You've read that in books. Because he understood what greatness looked like, and he was not willing to sacrifice anything to get there. He also had a well-documented, tough, bordering on brutal childhood. And it always felt like along the way he was a bit tortured. Even the way the Lakers' relationship ended wasn't perfect. Jerry was almost singular in his greatness. He was arguably the first great guard in the NBA, Mr. Clutch. He very quickly established himself as almost a Svengali, a guru of basketball talent. Yes, you know about Shaq and Kobe, and you know about Kareem and Magic, but do you realize how big he was in the Warriors dynasty as he aged? I always say you can tell a lot about a man when he goes past perhaps his prime years. You look at him, you listen to him. Has he been willing to acknowledge issues, grow, evolve? That was Jerry West. He was the one that told them, move off Monte Ellis, embrace Steph Curry, and go get Andrew Bogut. You need size. He was the one that told them, I will resign if you move off Klay Thompson for Kevin Love. And at the time, Kevin Love was the better player. He was the one that whispered in KD's ear, you'll get better shots there than you do in Oklahoma City. The architect of 3 dynasties, and arguably outside of the Bulls, the 3 best dynasties ever. He knew basketball. He loved basketball. He was great at basketball. The best way I could describe Jerry West as a guard and as an executive, he didn't miss much. Here's Jerry on our show years ago as the greatest executive talking about probably the greatest player, Michael Jordan.
If you watched him go anywhere, he was like the Pied Piper. You could not keep people away from him. He just had that incredible charisma. But when he played, every night he played, he was not going to take a night off. I love Michael Jordan. I absolutely love Michael Jordan. He's the best. He's the best athlete I've ever seen in basketball. People are going to make comparisons, but I wonder today, with the rules having changed today, you can't hand check, you can't touch anyone, you can walk all over the place, you can carry the basketball all over the place. And this is the evolution of the game. If he could have added that to his game, my goodness, what would we see today?
It tells you a lot about Jerry West, as that the greatest current players, his contemporaries, his peers, all generations, when Jerry walked into a room, they stopped talking and they listened. It was sometimes combative with the Lakers. There's a lot of egos, a lot of brain power, a lot of greatness in Los Angeles, and it didn't end well with the Lakers. But Jerry has to be seen as almost singularly a unique all-time player and executive. Rest in peace to Mr. Clutch, the logo. All right, things a bit bumpy in New York with the Jets. So Aaron Rodgers didn't show up for day 1 of minicamp. Now, through the years, I've said, and I believe this, there's too much football practice. Sean McVay came to the Rams with a different sensibility and said, let's lighten up practice and let's not play any of our starters in the preseason. People scoffed, rolled their eyes. They won't be ready for the opener. They started the year 8-0. It doesn't bother me that much that Aaron Rodgers missed a day of minicamp. Although Diana Rossini says, reporter, he now will miss the entire camp. Okay, so why was it so clunky when his head coach, Robert Saleh, went to the podium a couple of days ago to talk about his absence on day 1? He's missing the entire camp. Is it jury duty? Is he at a sales conference? Coachella still going on? Events don't last a week. So that's real fuzzy. And also, why did Robert Saleh have to say verbally, he could have kept it to himself, that it was an unexcused absence? My guess is the power dynamic with Aaron Rodgers has always been a little off. So Saleh wants to make it clear he runs the team and not Aaron. But it felt a little passive-aggressive and like the scolding teacher. But this is what happens when you give a prickly, rich, set in his ways, passive-aggressive quarterback coming to save the franchise, and you put him with a defensive coach on the hot seat with an 11-23 record before Aaron got there. What you get is a weird power dynamic. Even as great as Brady was, Belichick ran the show, and Tom knew it. Even as great as Mahomes is, Andy Reid runs the show, moves off a Tyreek Hill, and Mahomes knows it. I could argue the rudderless ship known as the New York Jets needs stronger management, not less intensity and less power and less leverage. So Saleh really has his hands tied. But they've been tied from day one. From the very outset, the power dynamic here has been off. It's why I didn't buy them last year. I think they'll be good this year, but I don't consider them a Super Bowl team. Too much of a perpetual, weird, odd mess. An uneven franchise that threw a Hail Mary to get Aaron, let him pick the OC, who wouldn't have gotten a job as an OC anywhere else in the league, had him bring in Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard, overpaying for Lazard. Cobb is no longer really a roster player, though he had a nice career. It's all about the power dynamic. Saleh, when Aaron landed, was an unproven, losing record, defensive coach who had no momentum with an impulsive owner, a new GM. You thought this was going to work? Aaron in Green Bay never liked it that he didn't have as much control as he felt he deserved. Brady never got caught up in that. He didn't care. He just wanted to win trophies. So part of Aaron's personality has always been, I want to say, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So none of this is a surprise. The quarterback, the head coach, the GM, it just feels odd. The power dynamic is off. You see this often in the NBA, where the star runs through coaches. That's a basketball culture thing. It's not a football culture thing, except apparently in New York. But why BS? An event? I was told last night from a source I trust, Aaron's on vacation and it's overseas. I'm also told you'll learn about where he's at tomorrow. Don't want to burn my source. I'm told you'll learn about it tomorrow. Maybe he is at an event, can't believe there's something overseas that would take 7, 8, 9 days. Again, maybe they have a music festival. But the point is, don't be surprised by this. This is sort of what you would expect. Impulsive owner, new GM, coach with a losing record, prickly, older at times, arrogant, disconnected quarterback in New York City with a pretty relentless and inarguably massive press corps. This is what you get.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.